And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the But Peep This podcast, the podcast where we talk about whatever the fuck we want. I'm Lionel, that's J.E.'s, that's Jennifer, and Sean is back, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm not mistaken, Sean had fleas and he had to go get a flea collar, which he's not wearing.
All right, wait a minute.
He did have to chase his cats around this morning.
I sure did. Can I tell that story? Can we start with the story? I was told the story is fairly entertaining.
It is fair.
You want to start the podcast with a story telling about how you had to chase some pussy?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
That's what you're doing.
So
That's what you're
at
doing.
this
That's how you
point,
phrase that?
You just
You need-
just
you need to
wild.
pause the episode right now, like, comment, subscribe, like our Facebook, like our do we have an Instagram?
Yes.
Like our Instagram, leave a
Turn on
comment,
notifications.
turn on all our notifications because eventually we're gonna start going live on YouTube because it's editing shit. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of easy. We're still in the early stages of this channel, so we see comments, and trust me, we will make time for your ass. So whatever you leave, please stand on that shit. Now that we got that out the way, Sean has a story he wants to tell about his cats. So let's hear it, Sean. This shit better be good.
So my sister had a friend of hers stay over. His name is Procure, which I always felt was kind of odd. We called him Procure for a long time because that was just what it was. But I met the guy, dude's chill dude, whatnot. She's a thing in and of itself. But he spent like all day, like Monday, like outside. I don't know why, but he just occupied the outside of the house, right? So he was used to being outside. Now, my cat, Chunky, does not go outside. He's terrified of outside. Uzi and Mac have already run out the house once. So we have had to be very careful about keeping the doors open and closed, right? Well, they're leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning because Erin's heading back to Louisiana. So her and this dude are like getting all their stuff together. And she comes to me and she's like, hey, can you, move Deontay's car? Because Deontay's car was parked behind her. So I go to move the car. And as I'm going to move the car, this orange cat just comes like trotting in front of the house. And it's like, I've been up for like 10 minutes. So I'm looking at this cat and I'm like, is that Mac? Like just slowly trotting across like the front yard. So I get out the car and I'm like, was that Mac? And they're like, we think so. And I'm like, well, did one of you leave the door open? And Procure was like, oh shit, I did leave the door open. I'm like, how did you? Okay. So we go to the backyard where the cat is. Okay. Mac is not a small cat by any means whatsoever. He is a chunky cat. He is honestly round about the same size as Chunky, and you all have seen how big Chunky is. Big cat. Been real lazy, doesn't really do much. When I tell y'all that this cat like was on crack or something, because he was like hallucinating as if he was like a lion in like the savannah. Because he was running around the backyard and like hiding behind the grass because we don't have anything to cut the grass with, so the grass is kind of high. It was like hiding behind the grass, like going here and there, just like darting back and forth. And this cat is moving faster than I've ever seen this cat move before. I am just watching this cat dart back and forth, like just like full on lion stance and everything. And I'm like, what in the absolute fuck am I supposed? Like, it is super early in the morning. I'm like, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So the cat, I guess, finally like snaps out of it and just like trots back inside. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then I'm going get ready. And I'm getting everything ready. I'd cussed Procure out, like, how the fuck did you leave the door? Just go, leave the house. Bye, have a good one. Love to Procure, but goddamn, man, you made me run around after my cats this morning. And I go to get ready, and I like to look over like the second floor onto like the first floor, and I just see Mac just like sprawled out, like heavy breathing. And I said, "Oh, you're worn out? Really?" Like, what the? Like, I'll start cussing out the cat from like at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was not. My cat really thought he was a lion, and I was very confused. Very confused.
Lawnmower.
I need a lawnmower.
You cut grass with a lawnmower. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I don't have anything to cut grass. I couldn't even cut it with a pair of scissors. So.
I mean, you could.
Do you not own a pair of scissors?
I do, but they're like meat scissors, so I'm not gonna
They cut.
Yeah, but I don't want to use that to cut the grass.
Why do you not own a regular pair of scissors? I feel like that's a really important question here.
Why do I need a regular?
It's a simple household item.
What do I need it for? What do I need?
You know what?
Did
I
this
ain't gonna lie.
nigga
I ain't gonna lie. Look, I probably wouldn't have them if I didn't have kids, and if Keisha didn't do a bunch of craft stuff.
Okay, well, me and Deontay don't do craft stuff.
Outside of my crafts, I have a pair of kitchen scissors for opening packaging.
I have a knife.
And that's it. Anything I need to cut stuff on, I use a knife.
I have cut my hand open that way. I cannot do that.
Okay, well, I have not cut my hand open on a knife.
Yeah, what y'all not about to do is sit here and act like.
Like the
That's a whole
scissors
other
are
thing.
weird.
It's a whole other thing.
But the scissors are not a weird, like, that is not a
That's
weird.
not a weird household item to have.
No, it's not.
Like,
but-
I also have paper and fabric scissors. That's different. That's because I craft.
Damn.
Having a pair of kitchen scissors is not weird.
It's a $4 pair of scissors.
It's
I don't want to
something I've
spend.
never
I
thought
just
about.
don't need scissors. And I mean, honestly, if I'm gonna have scissors, I'm just gonna take them from fucking work.
You never need
I mean-
scissors until you need scissors, guys.
I have a knife.
You never
I-
need
I-
anything
I
in
have
your
a
house
knife.
until you need it.
I'm
I
not,
have a
not-
knife.
I have a knife.
That's fucking dumb. What else do you have in what else do you think should be a household item? Let's see if everybody has this shit. Go ahead, Jen.
I'm
I'm about to say, don't ask me these questions because
really hoping y'all all own a pocket knife too.
I have two.
I have
I've
one of
got
those
that.
because of trucking.
I was gonna say, like, that is one thing I stand by, the fact that everybody should own a pocket knife.
I
Do
agree.
you own a meat thermometer?
No.
No,
I know everybody on this call doesn't own a whisk.
no, that is incorrect.
Oh, do you
We
own one
have
now?
I bought Sean a whisk because I couldn't stand the fact of his ass not having one.
Do a whisk. Do a
We have
whisk.
one though.
And I even used it, and I sent a video to Lionel, and I said, "Wow, look at this."
Yeah, he called himself making some macaroni and cheese this holiday.
The-
This past
We have
holiday.
we have a whisk only because of Keisha though, because otherwise I would use a spoon for.
You can't use a fucking spoon when you make grits, Jay. You
Shit.
need a whisk.
Are you serious? I've never used a whisk for grits. It's always a spoon. Teaspoon at that. You don't want to be too big.
That's how you.
You use a whisk? What kind of fancy shit is that?
Listen. I know you from Uniontown. I know. We grew up in the same place, man. I get it. But do I have to have the whisk talk with you just like I had it with Sean?
No, I mean I use it now that it's here, but
He has a whisk.
Now that
I
it's
thought,
here, when did the whisk arrive?
You know what? It's probably been here longer than what I've noticed.
Y'all
Keisha
killing me with the
used it.
basic.
I just worry about the bottom of y'all's pants. Like,
Oh, I get in there, I scrub it.
The bottom of what?
I'm worried about you scratching the bottom of your pants.
Really? I've never thought about that.
Mhm.
Are all your utensils metal?
No.
No.
Do you own wooden utensils?
Yes. Not a
Yes.
lot, but yes.
Right. Not a lot. Yeah.
How about a flashlight?
Oh yeah, I got one of
I
those.
got one of those. I got
What
one.
kind of flashlight?
Any flashlight.
Okay, I got about
Not
10
your
of them.
phone.
At least 50 lumen.
I got about 10 of them because every year my mom and my dad for Christmas will go on QVC or HSN and find like the 12-in-1 flashlight emergency car.
I was gonna say I have the
Thing.
little one.
So like I have about 10 of them. So yeah, I got flashlights.
How about a regular thermometer?
Yes.
Don't have a thermometer.
That's another thing that's in here because of kids.
Don't have a
Is it a digital thermometer or is it one you got to put under the tongue?
She got both. Yeah. I think she got one of them because the other one was lost.
I used to have one that you put under the tongue, but it get broke.
Do y'all have a first aid kit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't really have a lot in it.
I got.
It's under the sink though, where it's supposed to be.
What's in the first aid kit?
You want me to go get it?
I'm scared.
I don't have like the actual kit like that. I got alcohol, peroxide, band-aids, Neosporin.
What was that last one?
Say it again.
Neosporin.
Neosporin?
Yeah.
I don't think
Is that
that's how
a
that's
N
said.
or N on that? Look,
Neosporin?
man, I'm just going by what I've heard my whole life. I've never actually read it. Now that we're talking about it, let me look it up. I want to.
Do you think it's liquid aspirin?
I don't know how you're getting there, but
Because
Let
it's
me
the
see.
only medication I know that ends in rin.
I see it now. Oh, it is Neosporin.
Yeah, Neosporin.
Sporin. You're doing a sporin. Right
Sean,
now.
I know a lot of medicines that end in IN.
No, not IN, but end in N.
N?
That's not prescription fucking
What?
medication. It's not prescription fucking medication. Listen, I know how that came across, but I know what he was trying to do. And that's not what I would. That's not. Exactly.
All I was saying was clarify. I wasn't trying to catch you. on a lie.
I know, but yeah,
I was confused there for a minute, but no,
yeah,
I got that. That's
Do
what I
y'all
got.
also own some kind of painkillers? Aspirin, Tylenol, whatever the hell you want.
I got a big ass bottle of ibuprofen somewhere. It was
That
on the
works.
stairs the other day.
Why?
I don't know. There's a little ledge on the stairs.
Very random.
It was, yeah. Somebody probably used it and just left it there.
Still random. Like, what the hell? Now that I think about it, I'm gonna just put this right here.
All the bedrooms are up here. So if you don't want to go all the way downstairs and put something back, take it right there. And then
How about a toolbox?
Yes. Like
I got
little, but
tools.
yeah.
I don't have the actual box.
Yeah, I mean, I
Do
don't
you
have like a metal toolbox.
Do
I have a
you
big
own a
box full of
hammer?
tools.
Yeah.
Do you own a hammer?
I own a hammer, an electric drill. I own
Oh, I do
every
not own an
fucking
electric drill.
Allen wrench you could think of. I have one that plugs in and one that's not plugged in. I have
Why the
levels.
fuck
I
do
have
you need
tape
an
measures.
electric Allen wrench?
No, I don't have an electric Allen wrench. I'm talking about the drill.
Do you have a flathead screwdriver?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a
Yes.
flathead screwdriver. I have a star screwdriver. I have every kind of screwdriver you can think of. Tools is not something I'm lacking. That's for damn sure.
Do you have a weather radio?
No.
No,
No.
nor will I probably ever get one.
Agreed.
True.
James Spann that taught y'all nothing, huh? What a bitch.
What didn't teach us anything? You want to
said-
know? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said James Spann ain't teach y'all shit, huh?
I don't know who the fuck James Spann is. So.
Hey. James Spann. That's all
It's
you
a
need.
motherfucking weather legend.
Oh,
Legend.
that's like Bob Breck, where we're from. Yeah,
The
Yeah.
fuck is Bob Brack?
exactly.
I learned this
Exactly.
recently. Each region has their weather legend guy. And it's usually a guy, it's never a woman. That's
Correct.
weird. But each region has that.
It's when they show up, you're concerned.
I
That's-
know
Yeah.
Baltimore's weather person was a girl, but she works for the Weather Channel now.
Somebody tried to recruit me earlier this week to move to, not late last week, to move to Baltimore because of trucking. And I think it's their mayor says something about an initiative of so many transportation jobs that he is about to
That sounds like
into-
something Scott would do.
right. But
His
What I
fro is
told
on
him-
point, if that means anything.
what I told him is I think it sounds great, especially for anybody who can get in on it. But by me living here and having a full family, in order for me to be able to take that job, they would have to do a lot of expensive shit to get me up there. You're gonna
Also,
need
the
to,
schools are not great for kids.
all right, well, then-
Public schools are not very good.
I would recommend you not move to Baltimore. Move to like Dundalk or some shit.
just outside of it.
White Marsh.
I was gonna say move to the county
Gotcha.
because
Yeah, don't do that city. Don't do the city.
Gotcha.
the schools track with Louisiana schools. They're bad.
To be the richest state in the union.
Oh wow.
Oh,
I was gonna say Maryland is the richest state in the country. However,
I
the
did
schools in
not know
Baltimore
that.
City suck.
According to like per capita or like,
I can't remember what it is.
because I have a hard time believing that the wealth in California does not eclipse the wealth in Maryland.
I think it might be the average wealth.
Okay, all right. I was if I was like,
Oh,
is
but
it like
even
wealth per
within-
capita? Like, because
I want to say it's average, but I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah.
wow. I did not know that.
Which is interesting when you get Baltimore in.
It goes by GDP per capita.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting when you get Baltimore, which is incredibly poor.
Hang on, let me look at this.
You call that interesting, but the inner rebel in me goes, yeah, that's about how.
Oh no,
you
it
know,
tracks.
It tracks. Oh, it fucking tracks. It tracks. Shockingly, the more rich people there are, the more poor people there are.
Oh yeah.
Who would have fucking thought that one?
Yeah. That's how that shit works.
Side note, while we're figuring this out, can I talk about how I'm intentionally spiting Florida schools right now with one of my decisions for teaching? Because I truly don't care at this
You
point.
can say
I
it,
mean,
but depending on how it is, I want to see how close it is. You're going to be with going to jail, considering who your governor is down there.
oh no, believe me, I know. So I was looking for a book to be able to kind of cover for the last quarter, right? And the one that I was going to cover was Waiting for Godot. I was going to do Waiting for Godot.
Ah,
Now, if you don't know what Waiting for Godot is, Waiting for Godot is a one-shot play. It's one scene, and it is two people who are standing there waiting for this man, Godot,
is it
to
the
show
end
up.
and it's like, let's go.
He doesn't show up.
Yes. That's it.
And the end is he doesn't show up. And I was going to use it to talk about absurdism and all kinds of other stuff, right? And I'm also doing the short story After 20 Years, where you have the two people who are like, oh, 20, like in 20 years, we're going to meet up. And one of them becomes like a big crime boss, and the other one is a cop. And they meet up, and the cop ends up arresting him. It's like, it's a whole thing. It's a short story you can find. It's real easy.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. But I was gonna do Waiting for Godot, but it was the way that Florida schools have things right now. You have to go through and check it on a list and make sure it's on the list in some way, shape, or form. Two people having a conversation about whether a person is going to show up or not is not on the approved list. However, the story that I am going to do, just despite the district, because I don't think they've read this book to know that this book should not be on their list, is Don Quixote.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with Don Quixote.
I've never read it, but I know of it.
Don Quixote is a story within a story about this guy who fries his brain on chivalry tales and goes out and becomes a knight, but everybody essentially clowns him. And it's about like wealth disparity and like anti-Christian ideals and a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, Mr. DeFuckstick is not going to enjoy. So to spite the district, I am covering Don Quixote in its entirety and everything that goes with it. Because it's on the list. It's on the list.
Solid.
I
love it.
And then I told my students today that we're going to start with Don Quixote, and one of them had like not like a legitimate panic attack, but was just like, no, like when I was in Sunday school, they used to make us read that for punishment, and I'm like, why are you reading Don Quixote for punishment?
Damn.
Like, what the fuck? What? Don Quixote for punishment? What the fuck?
So Maryland is the richest state in the country when you're talking about the median household income.
Okay.
So Maryland is number one with $90,000 a year. 2 is Massachusetts with 89. 3 is Jersey with 89. 4 is New Hampshire with 88. 5 is California with 84. 6 is Hawaii with 84. 7 is Washington with 84. 8 is Connecticut with 83. 9 is Colorado with 82. 10 is Virginia with 80. And 11 is Utah with 75. Now, New Hampshire on this list would surprise most people because live free or die, right? But what you don't know is that most people who live in New Hampshire don't work in New Hampshire because there are no jobs in New Hampshire. So let's say you live in, I don't know, Nashua, New Hampshire, which is right on the Massachusetts line. And you work in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is right there. Yeah, you don't have to pay any tax in New Hampshire, but you work in Massachusetts.
Right.
So New Hampshire is going to charge you Massachusetts state tax.
Yep.
Because live free or die, only if you live in New Hampshire. So,
Isn't their education system pretty good there in New Hampshire?
Massachusetts?
No, I
New
know
Hampshire.
Massachusetts is up there. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire
I'm
is
not really sure about New Hampshire.
They're in the
I've
upper
never-
middle, if not the top.
I've never seen a person in New Hampshire and said that kid's going places. I'm gonna be
I'm
honest.
probably
Keep it a bean.
thinking about just their proximity to Massachusetts. Because I think they are up there. I look at that stuff often, just to see how much Alabama and Mississippi trade spots at 49 and 50.
I'm gonna say Alabama's gonna always be last,
Well,
next to
it's
last.
a battle. There we go. It's a battle because
Louisiana's still there in the conversation, always,
I'm a damn.
fucking always. So I don't want to hear it.
I mean, damn.
I was gonna say Louisiana ain't doing much better. We say thank God for Mississippi and call it a day.
It's crazy looking at those lists, man, because Alabama is low on a lot.
I wonder who's like number 20, 24, or 25. It's like, oh, we're not the best, but we do all right. We're all right. You know, we're all right.
Like we're getting by.
I mean,
I'll tell you what's a name that could come up there. Florida, some fucking how. I know what you're thinking, but I'm telling you, Florida is like in the 20s or 30s. It's weird. It's weird because I'll tell you what.
27.
Told you.
Wow.
The fuck? Why
I told
is
you.
Texas the 28?
New
Texas.
Jersey is number one. That's surprising.
I'm not surprised by New Jersey. It used to be.
Okay,
It used to
okay.
be Connecticut. It used to be
Florida's number
Connecticut.
3.
Yeah, Connecticut was that one.
Florida's number 3 compared to what?
For education?
What list are
Yeah.
you looking at?
Hold on. Wait. Are you talking about wait, no. Florida's not number 3.
Hang on, this is not a reliable source. Hold up.
Yeah, no shit. That's Ron DeSantis. That's what that
Well, no, this was U.S. News and World Report. That's really reliable source, actually.
Yeah, it is.
But what is it based on?
U.S. News and World Report.
Are they talking about for K through 12 or college?
They have both on here.
Okay,
Okay, fair.
that might be why, because the Florida colleges are really fucking good.
Let's
They
see
are really
And
fucking good.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
who's run of the mill. Let's see. Middle of the road. I want to know who's number
New
20.
Mexico's like middle of the road.
That's what you think?
I'm not surprised that
What I
Colorado
know.
is number 5. That doesn't surprise me at all. Colorado being in the top 5 does not surprise me.
No.
That would make sense.
Wisconsin and
Maine's
Nebraska.
like in the top 20.
Wisconsin is 8. Nebraska is 9.
I believe that.
Why am I shocked that Utah is 10? What am I doing there? Why am I shocked by that?
Mormons.
Is it the Mormon thing?
I'm sorry. That was disrespectful.
I was getting ready to say the same thing.
Dang fuck, you might as well read.
That was disrespectful. That was
I
disrespectful.
gotta make sure they can read.
We
Might as
hear
well.
we here at the But
Dang
Peep This
fuck.
podcast do not shit on Mormons. Sean Finn personally does not think the Mormons know what the fuck they're talking about, but the
I don't-
podcast might be a little different. I'm willing to have any conversation with anybody about the Mormon religion.
I'm still trying to get them to explain what the hell they mean by darker skinned people are cursed.
I don't think you'll ever get that answer, and even if you do get that answer, I don't think it'll be a substantial one.
Yeah.
It certainly won't be a good one.
Yeah, it won't be anything good there.
Virginia is number 12. That is okay.
Okay.
I can see that.
Number
I can see that.
25 in education is North Dakota.
I can believe that.
It's 24 is Delaware.
Fucking there.
Exactly.
24 is Delaware. 25 is North Dakota. 26 is Georgia. 27 is Hawaii. 28 is Maine. No, yeah. 28 is Maine. 29 is Idaho. 30 is Missouri.
I would be a little disappointed if I lived in Hawaii and I was only getting like middle of the road education.
I think Hawaii,
Like, you
they
know,
only they have a 4-day school week.
that's how it
The
should
cost
be.
of living there is also hell.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, I've talked to 2 people who lived in Hawaii, who moved there. One moved there for military reasons. I forgot the reason the other was there. The one who was there for military reasons, she was like, yo, it looks great, but when you're living here, you don't really want to just live here like that. She was like, it's expensive as fuck. And a lot of this shit is cool to just vacation here for like a brief period of time. But no, if you're just like trying to move there like that, move there with a bunch of money. You might be all right.
Well, and
Don't
unlike
move on
Alaska,
nothing.
I don't think they have UBE
Oh, really?
because Alaska has universal basic income. UBI.
Yeah, you said UBE, and I was like,
That's the
University-
bar exam.
Wait
Sorry.
a minute.
Imagine
Ah,
imagine going to McDonald's in Honolulu and saying, "Yo, let me get a McDouble," and a motherfucker said $13.99.
no, you want to know what Deontay told me about the McDonald's in Hawaii? They serve
that?
rice. They serve rice.
That's interesting.
That's depressing.
They serve rice and eggs.
Damn.
No fucking rice and no goddamn McDonald's. I'll flip all this shit over.
I mean, you could get other stuff, but they do have rice and eggs.
That's so interesting.
That's very.
I will flip all this shit over if I go to fucking McDonald's and I was like, "We got rice and eggs." Oh, fucking rice. That's the hoodest ass meal you could get at.
No, it's actually a Hawaiian meal. Actually,
Look, I don't know. I've seen my parents substitute grits or anything else for rice for like breakfast side.
and that's a very like island culture thing.
Huh.
Jamaicans do the same thing.
I was just about to say, this shit is passed down. Like
Rice
passed
is
all the way
cheaper
down.
than grits are.
That too.
I've
It's also
never been
more
a teacher,
readily
so
available.
I'll take
When you
your word for
see
it.
starving people on those commercials, they always got rice.
They
Yeah,
always got
rice.
rice. Yeah, give me that. They always got rice. Give me
They may not have no motherfucking butter,
that.
but they always got rice.
They do have rice.
Look, one more point from what we was doing before we started recording. I was looking at something and I keep forgetting, honestly, how old LeBron really is.
Yeah.
And this contract, and I think these contracts are true to what their actual contracts are.
They are.
Okay, so on this game, he's 37 and 3 years remaining on his contract at 141.61. This man he's serious about this until 40 shit, isn't he?
3 years at $141.61. He's making a little bit over $45 million a year, or around that.
Yeah.
45 million a year.
I really
47,
just
maybe
wanna see-
48.
I want to see him stay there at least until
No,
he can be on the
47.
floor with
He
Bronny.
he himself has said that he will not retire until he plays with Bronny.
I want to see.
And considering that I've been seeing a lot recently about Bronny playing his last high school game
Yeah,
and
yeah.
getting beat.
Oh, it was bad.
Beat.
And one of the players on the
Beat.
team that he got beat by was one of Master P's sons, and I think it was somebody else.
We're not doing this. We're not. We're not. I'm gonna tell you what we're not about to do right now. We're not
Look,
doing
man,
this.
I'm telling you, and his son put some numbers up in that game.
Master, didn't you hear J.E.'s? Master P's son already verbally committed to ICDC college.
Ain't that a
Look, of all of the famous
oh boy?
people, basketball players we've been hearing about for the last 2 years or so, I didn't hear anything about Master P's son, and apparently he's nice. I'm not all that surprised. I just haven't heard anything about
You want to know why Michael Jordan is not the GOAT?
it.
Because Master P didn't get to play basketball in his prime.
Oh shit!
That's why
you don't have to.
Michael Jordan can't be the GOAT, because Master P didn't get to play basketball in his prime. We never knew how good Master P was going to be. Those are not my words. Those are the words of somebody else who on this podcast.
Hence why I don't say anything. Hey. See, you're making it sound like that's me. Like, can we clarify that ain't me? Yeah, but you
I never
said
said you.
Yeah, but typically those comments get attributed to me. Hence why I said we're not doing this.
I understand you say. I understand you say a lot of dumb shit, Sean. I get that. We all get that. Trust me, we get it. But if I wanted to tag you on some dumb shit you would say, I would just say, y'all know this nigga Sean said this that one time.
I had to back away from them sports debates, man. Like after I realized people aren't really talking about much of anything, really. I'm trying to find the best way to say this. They're not talking about much of anything. And I remember one where I was talking about Deontay Wilder, and I said, I wish he was a better boxer. And somebody called me a hater.
No, Deontay Wilder is not a good boxer at all.
Look,
at all. That's why
love
Tyson
Deontay.
Fury, besides the fact that Tyson Fury cheats every time he boxes Deontay Wilder, that's why he wins every time, because Tyson Fury is a better technical boxer.
Yeah, that's it.
Deontay Wilder just hits like a fucking truck.
And
hey, that'll do most times.
It will. It will.
And Tyson comes from like a long line of fighters. Like it's just something. Deontay picked the shit up because he needed money. Like he wanted some shit to do, and he picked it up and knocked out 41 people in 42 fights. Like,
If
that ain't no
Deont- if
small thing.
yeah, if Deontay Wilder was a better technical boxer, he would
Oh
have
God.
he would
Oh,
have a claim at being able to say he's one of the best heavyweights of all time because
Dang.
he his
man.
because even with the speed he had, if he just like kept his hands up, went to combinations,
Mhm.
didn't try to knock everybody out with one punch, the dude would be a beast. He'd be a
Because he be,
beast.
because he be looking for it, man. He look for it. He don't look to get in this fight and like win it, like maybe through the numbers or through the rounds. Like, nah, I'm here to knock you the fuck out.
The most
And that's
impressive
it.
thing, the most impressive thing to me about Deontay Wilder is that he fights like he's in high school. Like he really does. Like he fights like he's like squaring up with somebody in high school, and he made a professional career out of that
The
See,
way, the
because
way
he's that damn strong.
the way
Deontay
he-
Wilder's problem was. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
the way he disrespected Stavern in the last fight that he had against him, I started feeling sorry for Stavern because he knocked him down one time, and when Stavern got back up, Deontay Wilder looked he looked through this man's soul. He just stood there. He had his arms down and everything. He just stared him down and hit him 2 more times, knocked him down again. For whatever reason, Stavern got back up, and Deontay ran from the corner and did like a move a wide receiver would do to get open and hit him again. And I'm like, yo, ref, stop. Just stop this fight, man.
Ruff had money on the fight.
but I'm looking at it, it is very uncoordinated. It doesn't.
Deontay Wilder reminded me of a less
We just
technical.
beating him.
Yeah, he reminded me of a less technical Roy Jones. And to even say a less technical Roy Jones is a whole other thing in and of itself.
Deontay Wilder's problem was while he was sitting here trying to beat Tyson Fury.
No.
Man, cut it out. Cut it out. Because I know where you're going. Cut it out.
Now, to be fair, Deontay Wilder probably does have an LLC. I'm just throwing that out there. He more than likely does because if you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I would
think he
not
has
be
a-
surprised.
Get a
I think he has a
passport.
record label.
Travel the world. Leave them Jordans alone. Get a
If I'm not
passport.
mistaken, I think he has a record label. Like he's put some money in some stuff.
I don't know if y'all know this or not, but you don't need to pass a background check to get a pair of Jordans. All you need is the money to get the Jordans.
That is very true.
Oh shit.
With that being said, y'all, I am proud to announce that I have indeed filed to get it.
Shut your ass up. Oh man. When we make merchandise for this show, we have to make an LLC shirt.
I want to just get a shirt that says "Get an LLC."
Get
That's
an LLC. That's it. That's all there is to it.
That's it.
Get
Get
an
an
LLC.
LLC. And everybody's like, "You so right. You so right," and not
So
knowing
right.
not knowing the irony behind it.
No,
We're
not at all.
we're gonna put the podcast logo on it. And then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, we gotta check out that podcast. They spitting facts," and they're gonna come on the podcast like to watch it, and we're just gonna be roasting them the whole fucking time. And it's
You know
gonna be
what's
like,
crazy?
"What in the hell is this?"
I just seen a TikTok where somebody said there's a new wave of people selling like merch and other things without you seeing who they are or anything like that, but just saying the most wildest, disrespectful, outlandish shit. And they know that there's a market for that. So they're intentionally saying homophobic shit or racist shit or whatever because they know that there are people who want to support that shit. Whether the person who's selling
Andrew
it
Tate.
believe in it or not.
It makes me think.
Oh, Andrew Tate. Yeah? Is
I
that
would tell you somebody who that's working out for the good. Fucking
Who's that?
Eric Mays.
Yo, but that dude, that's different. That's different.
When they go low, we go lower. I need that as a fucking alarm in the morning.
That's different. That's
So
different.
You the
So,
reason I'm
Eric-
gonna vote like this, Miss Hurricane Rhoda.
I never forget the black girl on Twitter
That's who
said
I
that-
was thinking of.
who said that when she said she was a Trump supporter, her family put her out. And she started a GoFundMe, and all of these pro-Trump people funded this shit.
So much money. It
And
was
look,
so funny.
and I think I've admitted this before. I started a GoFundMe after that dude in Tuscaloosa was so angry that they had a baby Trump balloon in like the parade that he went there and he he cut the balloon open and shit. I found out what his name is. I tried to get the GoFundMe as fast as I could to say I was his cousin or something, and we needed money to bail him out because he did go to jail. But before I could get any money, the videos came out about him being bailed out, and GoFundMe shut my shit down. You know what? I haven't deleted that email address. That email address is on some of my subscriptions.
Too slow. Too goddamn.
Everybody should have a junk email address.
Look, you're right. But I opened it up. I put it, my Hulu was in there. And when I first opened it up and Keisha seen, she said, "What the fuck is that?" So don't worry about all that. He got
You asking too many questions. You asking too many questions, baby.
He got it. What you want to watch? You want to watch
Come on,
something?
come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
One
I
of
wanna
my
tell y'all.
Hmm?
I'm gonna Lionel's show suggestion of the week. Perry Mason on HBO Max.
Harry Mason.
Perry Mason. It's a remake.
reboot, or is it?
It's a remake, yes.
Okay.
If I didn't have to come to Ohio this week, I'd be through with that series. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Ohio. That's why y'all don't see my backdrop. It's a hotel.
Ohio.
The best shower pressure
Are
I've
you
ever
really-
felt on a
Are
fucking
you
shower.
really in Ohio?
I'm
is
dead
that-
ass in Ohio.
Are there actual people
Well,
in Ohio?
Technically,
or
I'm in
is
West
it going-
Virginia.
I was just going to say, I don't know about this whole Ohio mess. I don't know.
You're in West Virginia.
I'm technically in West Virginia. Yes,
You're
the
in West
hotel that I'm staying at is in West Virginia.
I'm just saying, I've been looking at a lot of stuff on the internet, and I don't know if Ohio exists. I'm just saying.
Not this shit again.
Delaware exists.
Not this shit again. No, but you want to know what I actually think doesn't exist? You know what I
Delaware.
actually think doesn't exist?
What was that?
Delaware.
Notre Dame academics. I don't think.
Explain.
Okay. How many people do you know with a Notre Dame academic degree?
Only one because of it. Well, I don't know anybody personally, but I've only know of one because of the show that she works on. She works on one of the sports shows that I listen to.
Ah, sports. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Wanted to make sure that was there.
The defense rest.
Have you ever seen a picture of Notre Dame's campus? Have you
Because
ever
that's-
I live in Indiana, so
Have
I
you-
have.
Have you ever seen anybody claim to be a Notre Dame professor?
Now that I have.
Do
never
we
seen.
know who the president of Notre Dame is?
We do not.
But we know who the coach of Notre Dame is.
We really we have.
Possible.
We know
We-
who the we know who the players are. I legitimately think that Notre Dame
Hold
just
on.
does football.
Hold
I'm not
on.
gonna lie to you.
Time out.
I think everybody that goes there plays
Who
football.
the fuck is we? I need some clarity because I can't name 5 Notre Dame players right now. Shit, I barely know the coach name.
I
It
just
used to
know
be
that
it
coach
used to
is
be
there.
Brian Kelly.
So who the
Yeah, I
fuck
know
is
that coach
we?
is there because he was left from the last regime and they hired him on. I was
But-
shocked that they hired him.
But you want to know what you do see a lot of pictures of with Notre Dame?
Football.
The football logo. You see that little bar that they have before you go into, the touch bar, right? And what else can you think about with Notre Dame?
They have a good law school.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you this though. Somebody
yes.
got me a Notre Dame sweater for Christmas. And it's a great sweater to fry chicken in. Telling you.
Damn.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't even know if that's a compliment or not.
What the fuck does that mean?
Great
not
sweater
sure
to
if
fry
that's a
some chicken
compliment.
in. Because all of us chicken fryers know when you fry chicken, what's the one thing you don't want to wear? Your good shit.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna even. I remember one of my kids asking me when I said, "All right, I'm about to cook," and I went back to the room after setting everything up. It was Malcolm. He said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm getting dressed." It's like, "But you got clothes on." It's like, you get there. Trust me, you'll get there. I'm frying chicken. I'm not frying chicken in these clothes that I got on right now.
Mm-mm.
You see, you get, you get.
My Notre Dame sweater got a grease stain right between the Notre and the Dame. Right,
Notre and the
Every day.
Dame.
Every day.
because I had the
Yo,
tongs in my hand and it was too hot and I dropped it, and that shit hit me right in the chest.
Speaking of apparel like that, somebody said something that I agreed with, but I'm trying to figure out how it happened. Somewhere in the 90s, when starter jackets were the thing, it seemed like everybody had a Hornets starter jacket without actually being a fan. It was either Hornets,
Or the
Raiders,
Bulls.
or Bulls. That was it. I
Some
didn't see a Lakers. I didn't see a Celtics. I didn't see a Hawks. None of that.
oh no, I've seen Celtics starter jackets.
Never seen.
I've seen Celtics starter jackets.
But that Hornets one,
Yeah, the
all the
Hornets
time.
one. So
all the time.
I think part of it was the fact that Kobe Bryant was drafted to the Hornets originally, and he did have a lot of like young people following him. But I also think there were some actors that were wearing the Charlotte Hornets gear.
Maybe. I'm thinking.
I think it's that, but I think it's a combination of both because Kobe Bryant did have a lot of like, pull during that time.
Yeah, but he never spent any time there. So
No, but
that's also weird itself. One thing I
Yeah.
do want to know though, and I'm gonna start challenging more people on this, is Sean, why do you think Jordan is just so much better than LeBron?
oh,
Are we doing this?
We're
We're
just here
doing
now?
this right now?
We're just here now.
We're doing this.
Okay. So for the record, I don't think Jordan is that much better than LeBron.
That much, but you still you are still
yeah,
saying
100%,
better.
100%. Because I have a couple of complaints about LeBron that I don't think is necessarily taken into account a lot with LeBron. That I'm going to share at this current moment. Number one, Jordan was not the bona fide best player in the league his first couple of years. So the minutes that Jordan was putting up and the time that he was getting was not to the same level that LeBron was when he first came into the league. Because there are a lot of people who say that when LeBron stepped onto the court after that first couple of months, he was one of the best players in the NBA. There's a lot of people who say that. I hear that from experts. I hear that from non-experts. I hear that from a lot of people. So I think that's fairly common belief. I don't believe it's true because Kobe was still there, but I do think it's a common belief. I believe that LeBron has about 3 major like clutch moments in his career that I feel like kind of define his clutchness as a whole. But I feel like Michael Jordan was just a more clutch player. And honestly, I don't think LeBron's been a closer on any team that he's been on. And if he has been a closer, he was either not as successful percentage-wise, or he did what he had to do in that moment, but he was never able to do it consistently.
Okay, can I pause? Point of, I guess, information.
Point of information.
Define closer.
When the game is close and you need somebody to make like the last couple of shots,
So game winners, essentially.
not just game winners. Hence why I said last couple of shots.
Okay, continue.
And because the thing about it is, like, one of LeBron's biggest clutch moments is that chase down block that he had. Like, when people talk about LeBron being a clutch player, that's one of the first things that they go to. It's like that one, the turnaround 3-pointer that he made, and something he did with or another 3-pointer that he made with the Cavaliers, like in his first go round with the Cavaliers. I don't really feel that when LeBron was on a team, he was just like dominant. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's a knock against him, but my thing about Jordan is that when Jordan was on the floor, he was the best player on the floor, and I really don't think there was conversation. And there have been a lot of times where I've watched LeBron play against like other stars and have really sat there and gone, he's not dominating. He's doing his thing, but he's not dominating. I think there are more people now who can score LeBron's numbers than what existed back in the 90s. Now, with that being said, I do also think that that goes to say that LeBron has had a little bit of, I mean, not even a little bit, has had a tougher road. He absolutely has had a tougher road. Playing against people who are, a lot better, more Hall of Famers, different things like that, or future Hall of Famers. More, shots being put up, a different type of game. I do give LeBron all of that credit. My biggest thing with LeBron, though, and this is my biggest thing of why I really am not ready to admit that LeBron is actually better than Jordan. The longevity conversation. I think that it's impressive when you are able to do something for 20 years on end and do it at a consistent rate. And I think that is absolutely incredible. I don't think if LeBron didn't do his 20-year career like he's doing it now, that he would be able to claim that title of being the best. I think if him and Jordan played the same amount of years, I think Jordan would still come out on top. And I think that LeBron
that's where you lost me.
I think LeBron has needed this last couple of years to be able to kind of like solidify that he will go down as the best, but I don't think he's there yet.
Okay, I got two things, and then I'm gonna drop because I'm not gonna argue with you about it.
Okay.
Number one, you said your first thing was Michael Jordan didn't get the minutes in his first couple of years as LeBron did, and that counts against LeBron. Why? How is that?
Jordan was able to do more with his lack of minutes than LeBron was able to do with his abundance of minutes.
In his first 3 years?
I'd say so, yeah.
Define more.
You get a higher win percentage, which I think comes into play. Because the Bulls were a shit team until he got there.
When did Michael Jordan get drafted? 1984?
86.
86.
So I'm talking about pretty much 86 to like 89 compared to LeBron's 2003 to like 08.
Michael Jordan got drafted in 1984. That's what I thought.
Okay. I did not know he got drafted in 1984. And he played like
in 1984, Michael Jordan played 38 minutes a game. and averaged 28 points. In 1985, he had 25 minutes a game and averaged 22 points. In 1986, it was 40, and in 87, it was 40. So,
Okay, pull up LeBron's numbers if you want to do that.
I got you. I got you.
Go ahead.
In 2003, LeBron played 39 minutes a game. 2004,
What did he average points wise?
20.9.
Okay.
In 2004, he played 42. He averaged 27. And 2005, he played 42. He averaged 31. So there was 1 year where Michael Jordan didn't play at least 35 minutes a game. But Michael Jordan played 35 to 40 minutes pretty much his entire career, just like LeBron. Minus that 1 year, 1985, which I'm going to assume he was injured.
I think he did get injured that year.
No.
That or something was going on, but
Hold on. Chicago Bulls.
no, I'll be honest. I did not know that information. So that is.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you didn't. It's cool though.
Okay.
You know it now. All right. 1984. They went, well, I guess 84, 85, right?
84, 85, yeah.
84, 85, they went 38, 44. 85, 86, they went 30, 52. 86, 87, they went 40 and 42. Did not go to the championship or playoffs those first 3 years.
Okay.
Well, no. I'm lying. They were a 7 seed, 8 seed, and 8 seed, but they got put out in the first round each time.
Just going to say, it took them a while to get out of the first round.
Did.
All right. Cleveland. All right. LeBron got drafted in 04.
03.
03. Okay. 2003, they went 35, 47. 2004, they went 42 and 40. 2005, they went 50 and 32. Damn near identical, except the fact that LeBron
I'd say LeBron actually had a better third
first 3 years.
Yeah,
with the same amount of minutes, and this is pretty much the same amount of points.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
All right, so say LeBron's the GOAT.
I'm conceding 1 point. I'm not conceding.
Well, you got to concede 2 points, actually.
Okay, what's the other one?
Wait. What were your? Give me your 3 points again.
What?
You said, hold on. You said, oh no. The longevity thing. That's the point I was getting to.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, Michael Jordan walked away from the game in his prime.
Sure did.
That's not LeBron James's fault.
I never said it was.
How can you hold the fact that LeBron played 20 straight years at a consistent rate and Michael Jordan played what? 84 to 90, or pretty much 20 years off and on?
No. Jordan did not play 20 years. He didn't play 20 years.
He got drafted in 84. His last year was 2003. In between,
right, but he didn't play.
That's exactly my point. He walked away from the game, not because of injury.
He did.
Because he wanted to go to fucking Birmingham, out of all places, and play baseball.
He did. He did. I feel like he had a decent reason to.
That counts against Jordan's legacy, not LeBron's.
Okay, if you want to count that against Jordan's legacy, fine. So how many years did it take Jordan to do what Jordan did compared to how many years did it take LeBron to eclipse what Jordan has done?
In what categories?
any of them.
That's a good. So
I mean, just start going down the line.
look, LeBron is the youngest player to each 1,000-point mark in NBA history.
Okay.
At each point of 1,000, getting to the 1,000-point marks of each one of them, youngest in NBA history for each one, while not, by all accounts, by all people, not being a natural scorer like Jordan was. The only thing Jordan has an edge over LeBron in is defense. But where that defense comes from, when you think about the players of Jordan era in terms of shooting, ball handling, basketball IQ, I don't know if that's a strong point in his favor against LeBron either. What's going to happen, that scoring title lasted for 55 years
Did.
under Kareem.
Did.
55 years. It was there since the 80s.
Was.
Not only has LeBron surpassed it, nobody else will be able to get there. Ever. Nobody will get to that point.
Michael Jordan was 10th on that list.
He was?
10th.
He was? How many seasons did Michael Jordan play?
Most players, most of the greats, when they reach their high, most points like lists, they were averaging between 13 and 15. LeBron is over 35, averaging 30.
Michael Jordan played 15 years.
He played 15 years. So in those 15 years, we take everything that Jordan has done.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me up until like what, 3 years ago?
Oh, no. This is great. I want you to go ahead and finish up.
No, go
This
ahead.
is great. In year 15 for LeBron, he averaged 28.
Okay.
That was more than Kobe Bryant's MVP season.
It was?
He had a better field goal percentage than Shaq
Mhm.
in his MVP season. He had a better three-point percentage than KD in his MVP season.
Okay.
And he had more assists than Derrick Rose in his MVP season. That was LeBron's 15th year.
Okay.
Better than all of those other MVP seasons from everybody else. One thing that I can give both LeBron and Jordan is, if we're being fair, almost every year that they play around their prime, they deserve the MVP of the league, but you have to spread it around. Because I don't think it can be a slight argument for LeBron's era. Around Jordan era, he was the king of the mountain.
Yeah.
But what does that say about Jordan in comparison to who he was playing around, and LeBron and his comparison? Look at the greats from LeBron's era against the greats from Jordan era, and you can compare them.
Yeah, you can. I've already given you that point. That was one of the
Okay.
first things I said, actually.
Okay.
So I understand that one.
So the whole point about the clutch thing,
Mhm.
when it counts the most, not just regular season, but playoffs,
Yeah, pause.
LeBron has a higher field goal percentage in those moments, and he has the most clutch shots made in those moments to end the game. In one series, he had 2 of them. In one playoff year, he had 3 of them. The first one, I'm okay with people counting the first one and saying that was a fluke, that one against Orlando, because it was just a catch, turn around, toss in the air, cool.
Yeah.
The one against Indiana, not a fluke. The one against Toronto, not a fluke. The one against Chicago, both against Chicago, not a fluke. The person who comes closest to LeBron after that with the most, I think, clutch shots in the playoffs is 2 people. Jordan and Kobe put together. It takes both of them to get to where LeBron did in those clutch moments that people like to say he's not clutch. Jordan got his first ring against an aging Magic Johnson. He got his second one, if I'm not mistaken, against what was it? Aging Clyde Drexler. He got his next one against that one was good against what? Charles Barkley. Give you that one. That Seattle team, their best player wasn't even a scorer. It was Gary Payton, and Sean Kemp was around for the ride. He was good. It was a good ride. And that Utah team had a formidable opponent in Karl Malone. And I give Jared, John Stockton his credit. But LeBron played against their best team in NBA history and was the only team to come back from down 3-1 to win the finals, averaging a triple-double. That's not a part to sleep on right there.
Never said it is.
3 years, in 3 consecutive years in the finals, he averaged a triple-double. Average. Like, I wake up, I go get a triple-double, I go to sleep. That was the 1 year in between that. Well, no, it was that first year. He should have gotten finals MVP, but they couldn't give it to him.
Why not?
Because his team lost.
Ah.
We're not going to use that. Because here we go. 20 years, 20, 30 years from now, people are going to ask who was the best player. And for the people who say Jordan, they say, oh, really, Jordan? Well, why was Jordan the best player? Does he have the most rings? Well, no, he doesn't have the most rings. Bill Russell has the most rings. So, okay, how many rings he got? He got 6. Is that like the most on the Nets? Well, no. Kareem has 6. Okay, well, does he have the most MVPs? No, that's Kareem too. Well, was he the greatest scorer? Like, is he number 1 on that list? Nah, that's Jordan. I mean, that's LeBron, but even then, Jordan is somewhere down on that list. When they asked who did he beat in the finals, and it's like, wait, who is this LeBron guy? Who did he beat in the finals? Well, it was a team that was 73-9. And he had to come back from a 3-1 lead. It's gonna get to, well, who did Jordan beat on his way there? Okay, he beat Patrick Ewing. Oh, who else did Patrick Ewing have on his team? A couple dudes, maybe John Stockton. Was it? They didn't get to the point where they had like Grandmama and playing against the Latrell Sprewell and all that. No. Blazers again, Clyde Drexler. Suns, Barkley. Sonics, Gary Payton. It's gonna get to a point when they ask, okay, who did Jordan play with the most? How did he get there? Jordan had Phil Jackson for all 6 titles. He also had Scottie Pippen. Who was the coach LeBron played with the most out of all his coaches? Mike Brown. And he didn't even win a ring with? Well, who did LeBron have as his teammates? Well, LeBron got 3 titles with 3 different teams.
That it does?
He had at least 2 with Dwayne Wade, and then say, you know what, I can go get another one. He got that one with Kyrie and said, you know what, I can go get another one with AD. So if we're using,
no,
we're not doing that.
We are.
We're not doing that. We're gonna come back to that. But I say
that's crazy.
When you go to Jordan, and
that's
you say,
asterisk.
Jordan again, Phil Jackson with all of them. And if I'm just taking somebody out, if I'm using this argument, even if you want to take that one away in the bubble, I feel like if I take Pippen away, then what are we doing? I'm giving Pippen his credit. I got to give it to him. Jordan, natural scorer. And like I said, I give him his defense, but how many other natural scorers in the league at the time at the shooting guard position? NBA just came out recently with their top 75 players. Of those players, Jordan played against at least 9 of them. LeBron played against 21 of them. That's the top 75. And out of that top 75, we're leaving out Clay, we're leaving out Dwight, we're leaving out a couple, like a few more of those. Nobody made any arguments for who was left out in the 90s. LeBron is not even an argument anymore. The better player.
Here's the thing. You're saying 20, 30 years from now. If you want to say 20, 30 years from now, sure, that's fine. Because here's my thing, and this is what started the original conversation.
Okay.
20, 30 years from now, we will be able to look at both of their careers from the standpoint of neither one of them are playing, and we'll be able to sit there and go, okay, this is how one teetered out, this is how the other teetered out.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my personal thing. LeBron does all this stuff, right? Say he's got 5 years left in his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has had, arguably the best career in basketball. Mm-hmm. If for these next 5 years, he's averaging like 10 points a game and leading these teams to be losing teams, I'm not putting him in that conversation.
Still putting him in it.
I'm not putting him in that conversation. I'm saying he had one of the best careers. But if for the last 5 years you are just completely shitting out.
No, but like you said, if we stop at year 15, LeBron's a better player.
Okay, but we didn't stop at year 15.
But if we were
so the longevity thing isn't an argument anymore then, right?
It's still an argument. It's still an argument. Because the thing about it is that Jordan played those 15 years. But if we really want to be honest with ourselves here, those last 2001 to 2003, what did he accomplish?
If I'm not mistaken, they had losing records.
Right. What did he accomplish in those last 2 to 3 years?
How old was he around that?
They had losing records, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Lionel, what did he accomplish in those last 2
to 3 years? What did he accomplish?
Nothing. He accomplished nothing.
How old was he around that time?
I have no clue.
Was he like in his late 30s? Was he maybe over 35?
He had to have been over 35. Had to have been.
So if I'm having this argument, not even 20, 30 years down the line, if I'm having it 2 years from now.
That's way too soon.
If I'm having it 10 years from now. Over 35. This man is averaging 30.
Yeah.
Like 38 and like 6 or something like that.
Yeah. However, I'm going to continue to stand by the fact that in 12 to 13 years, Jordan was able to do what has taken LeBron in some cases 20 years plus to be able to accomplish.
Like what, Sean?
Well, let's say you want to take out the ring argument. Fine. Let's get LeBron 3 more rings. How's he going to get 3 more rings between where he is now and then? So you're telling me it took him 23 years to get 6 rings that it took Jordan 12 years to get? I mean, it doesn't matter how you look at that. That's, Jordan has the edge in that one.
If we start breaking down,
Jordan was never the all-time leader in points either.
Okay, then LeBron has the edge in that one. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying this is like a far-fetched conversation.
Right.
I'm not saying that at all. You got and there's one thing about this conversation that pisses me off. When you go through and you have this conversation with people, they'll sit there and they'll go, "Oh, well, LeBron also did this." Look, I'm not saying it's not here and here. It could be by like a fingernail. But I think that fingernail goes to Jordan for the main reason of he was able to do what he was able to do in a shorter amount of time than what LeBron has.
What's gonna happen?
And LeBron has had extra years to be able to add to that. Take LeBron at year 12. Take Jordan at year 12. Compare those two. And if they stack up there, then fine. But I don't think, because I remember LeBron at year 12, I don't think LeBron at year 12 was on the same level as Jordan. I don't think we were having that conversation. We're having...
No, that can't be right.
Year 12?
That can't be right.
12.
Yes.
2015.
Yes. You remember where he
2015.
was?
Yeah, he was at the Cavaliers.
You're 12. Okay.
You're 12. He was at the Cavaliers.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 2013. No, wait, that's not right.
2015.
2015, 35 minutes a game, 25 points.
Mhm.
Shot 52% from the field, 30% from 3, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. All right. Michael Jordan, year 12.
I can give it to you right here. 36
Go ahead.
and 36 and 5. Average 30. It was 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
Averaged 30 points a game at year 12.
Yeah. That's not head and shoulders over.
I never said it was head and
What
shoulders.
year was that?
But
that was year 12 for
12
Jordan.
for Jordan.
No, what physical year was that, Jay?
Oh.
No, 1998.
Let me go back.
He didn't play in 1998.
Then it'd be 97.
Let's see. This is
Yeah, because 84 to 97 would be.
In 1997, he averaged 28 points a game and 5 rebounds, playing 38 minutes a game.
Yeah, this was the 96-97 season. And yep, 96-97 season average. Yeah, that's it. 96-97 season.
Okay.
And he shot 23% from 3, 46% from the field.
Well, I mean, if you want to say LeBron's a better 3-point shooter, sure.
He had a better shooting year than Jordan did that year.
Sure. We can have that conversation all day long. It's
He
not really going to go anywhere.
He shot better from the field, too.
He
He did shoot
also had
better
a
from
better
the field.
all-around game. I mean, 27, 7, and 7. Like, that's a year 12.
But at year 12, did LeBron have the same amount of MVPs as Jordan? Did he have the same amount of Defensive Player of the Years as Jordan? Do you have the same amount of Finals MVPs as Jordan? Do you have the same Finals appearances as Jordan?
The reason why I don't put much stock in that Defensive Player of the Year thing is because I'm not gonna rate who Jordan was playing against who LeBron was playing against in that time. I can't think of many great shooting guards.
But if
from
you
that-
want,
from that
but if
period.
you want
I can't
me
think
to
of
sit
many
there,
I can't think of many great shooting guards from that period against the period of positionless basketball where LeBron is guarding 1 through 5. And Jordan is just responsible for who's at the 2. He can lock down Reggie Miller for the most part. He can lock down Allen Houston. He can lock down John Starks. And at that point, Clyde wasn't there anymore.
that is a fair point. I didn't think about. I'll give you that one. Take away the Defensive Player of the Year thing, though. Take everything else, though. I mean, I just Jordan accomplished
In 1997, Michael Jordan and LeBron James had the same amount of MVPs in their 12th year.
Okay,
4.
keep going.
Wasn't it the same amount of finals appearances?
Appearances. How about wins? It couldn't have been the same. It couldn't. Well, it's not wins. I mean, I tell you that right now because he doesn't have the amount of wins that Jordan does currently. So I mean,
Jordan won 6 rings in 7 years. Okay, that's that. 19-time NBA All-Star from 2005 to 2023. That's literally a 19-year straight.
It was 19 years straight.
So,
Mind you, some of those All-Star, like the All-Star voting changing during that time.
it doesn't matter, Sean. He made it.
That
every year.
100% does matter.
It does not fucking matter.
They were drafting at one point.
Sean, you realize they still use votes.
Yeah.
You have to get enough votes to be an all-star. What team you play on does not matter. You still have to. That it still goes off votes.
All I'm saying is that the All-Star voting was changed multiple times during
Yeah,
that time.
I and that is noted. But I am
Okay.
also telling you that it
So
does not.
there
matter.
we go. No, well, okay, well,
So by year 12, LeBron had 3 rings.
okay. So 3 rings in 12 years compared to 6 rings in 7 years. Now there's that conversation, but we already know that. I'm not even trying to bring that up.
Gotcha.
But y'all bringing up scoring title as if we don't know that already as well.
The reason why the scoring title one is a good one is because, again, at each 1,000-point mark, he's the youngest of everybody on that list.
The youngest, though, that's an interesting conversation, though,
and
because of the
he's
fact that you have to remember that Michael Jordan went to college and Jordan did not. I mean, yeah, Michael Jordan went to college, LeBron did not.
Not LeBron's fault.
Right.
It's not LeBron's fault, but instead of
But-
going by the age, go by the amount of years that they were in the league.
But we also know LeBron to not be that natural scorer like that.
I disagree with that strongly.
Oh.
You cannot be the number 1 on the scoring list and not be a scorer. That's just not.
I think that speaks to his greatness. Because
So
we
what?
know
Okay,
he's
so
not
then
just
what
that
was
natural.
LeBron then?
LeBron is passed first before anything. He's always been. That's why he's on that top assist list. He's up there as well. He's higher than Jordan on that rebound list. Definitely higher than him on the assist list, higher than him on the points list. The minutes, we get it at this point. You have to look at it from when Jordan last played and look at, count years. But I think the only thing Jordan is higher than him on is the steals. That's it.
I'm not sure about that.
That should be the case because LeBron doesn't really steal.
I'm
like
almost certain it's the steals.
he doesn't have high steal numbers.
And the reason why I believe Jordan has that highest steal number, I can't think of many players with that handle like that from that time playing the 2.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is 4th with 25-14, but LeBron is 9th with 21-80.
Damn, see, I didn't even know he was in the top.
There's not really that big of a difference there, but
I didn't know he
he's
was in the
in
top
that
10.
stat category.
I didn't know he was in the top 10. That's crazy.
My entire point will continue to be and will be that Michael Jordan showed greatness earlier in his career and stayed there for a more dominant amount of time than what LeBron did.
Bro, we just literally just looked at the numbers and determined that was not true.
But you also said something different from that. You said when LeBron first got on the floor, he was recognized as the best player immediately.
Correct.
By the numbers.
And you counted that against him.
I mean, I conceded that point a long time ago. I don't even know why.
So you can't make the point again if you conceded it.
I didn't make that point. That's a different point
You can't come back with the opposite point after you conceded the first point.
I would say this. Of my conclusion on it.
No,
Come
stop.
down
Because
to,
what we're not about to do is sit there and try and just twist this shit. That's not happening. I'm going to show you. Stop talking.
I cannot wait until we play this shit back.
Stop.
I cannot wait until we play this shit back.
Because I legitimately wrote down, like, the day we had this conversation, my number 1 point was going to be the fact that so the conversation originally was who had the better end career. And because that was the original conversation. Okay. Who had the better end career? And y'all are saying LeBron. I said we can't say that because LeBron's not done. That was what I was going to come in here saying.
Okay, look at LeBron's 15th and 16th year. Match it up with Jordan.
Up for a second so I can finish talking. You done?
What you got?
Because you've been doing this the whole time. And you need to be doing that on yourself instead of doing that with me. So with that being said, right, my entire point has always been, from the beginning of this conversation till now, Jordan did what he did in less amount of time in the league than it took for LeBron to be recognized as that being great. That was the original point that I was making. How is that wrong? We have not seen a lot of these definitive conversations about LeBron being the GOAT until past after Jordan had played and accomplished anything.
Well, that's an
I think it
argument for
even
that,
speaks
too.
more to the fact that Jordan was as good as he was, the fact that he did nothing for 2 fucking years and still had some of the top stats that you could have and still be considered one of the best.
There's an argument for that too, and that is that we've gotten to a stage where the loudest voices on sports commentary say outlandish shit for entertainment.
I agree.
So having the discussion of the greatest is really just a slow day in sports.
It is.
So we got to get these hot takes off. Because even the number one defender of Jordan in these situations, Skip, back when Skip was writing on Jordan, a couple of his columns wasn't positive. Wasn't positive about Jordan. So he has even flip-flopped himself because he know how the attention gets. What I would say, and my conclusion to all of it is when LeBron is done and people are having who's his greatest player conversation, when they come to LeBron, they're gonna have a bunch of stuff that they can look at and say, "Oh, I see that." When it comes to Jordan, you're gonna be saying, "Oh, you just had to be there," and I don't think that is a fair argument.
I think that speaks a little more. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I do think one of the problems with that is that it does speak to recency bias. And I don't necessarily think that that's fair.
I see you there.
Because recency bias is going to put a lot of these players that we're bringing up in the conversation at being great, when we all know that we were having the same type of conversations about these other 90s players, but they got lost in the fray due to recency bias.
But when you start crunching these numbers, if you drop Damian Lillard in the 90s, he's going to be one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
If you drop Steph in the 90s, he's going to be one of the greatest players ever. You drop KD in the 90s, he's going to have 10 rings. Most of those players from the 90s going past 2008, perfect example of when we seen this shit change is when Allen Iverson was embarrassing Jordan at the top of the key. That's when we seen this shit change. It was at that moment that we knew it was a different NBA.
Embarrassing is a very strong word for that.
And I mean it.
Because Jordan, what? Because Jordan almost got the block.
One of the best.
Jordan wasn't on the floor.
Are you joking?
One of the best defensive great
Lionel,
players.
go back and watch the tape. Jordan's hand is in Iverson's face.
One of the best defensive great players of this league was one-on-one ISO against Iverson. Mm-hmm. And the crowd was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And Jordan's ankles was about to be gone. The last time we seen the NBA change before that was when Jordan was eliminating Magic in the finals. That was the last time we seen that happen. Jordan was getting embarrassed. That was the last time we seen the change.
Sean.
And it hasn't changed since.
Jordan almost gets the block.
What we gonna do? I'm on screen share.
Height advantage.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm on screen share. Advantage. I'm on screen share. We're gonna watch this 18-second clip. Mm-hmm. And ain't nobody gonna say nothing. And we just gonna move on. Jen, find a subject to talk about, and we're gonna move on.
Because I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay? That's what we're about to do. We're about to watch this 18-second clip. and we're gonna move on.
Dang. Mm. Mm.
Cool. Anyways,
I mean, I'm standing by what I said. So I'm not. I mean,
Stand by it. Whatever.
I mean, that was proof in and of itself. So I don't know what the fuck you were looking at, but
Whatever.
so the first thing that comes to mind for me, completely different from this conversation, because
Please, anything.
as I mentioned to Lionel, I have not been paying attention.
Jen does not sports, y'all. I forgot to tell y'all. It's not sports.
What do you consider the best animated movie?
It's not completely animated, but Cool World.
Damn.
Cool
What
World
is it?
my job. Cool World. And in Cool World, a young Brad Pitt is in it. Who else? There's some other big names in there.
Animated.
Shit, I'm trying to. Why am I drawing a blank on it? Anyway, if you've never seen Cool World, this guy who creates this comic book, and like the character that he creates in it, that he falls in love with himself just from the character that he created. Somehow there's a portal that opens up to you falling in this animated world. Oddly enough, one human has already been in that world years before he even gets there. And he's a detective. And the character that the guy created wants to get out of this world so much to get to the real world that she's willing to do anything she can to get there. Cool World is amazing. Cool World is my favorite animated movie, even though it's not completely animated. And what comes second on the list is similar to that, and that's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is wonderful. I will completely agree with you there.
Yeah, one of my answers were going to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So my answer for animated movie is going to be something in the Studio Ghibli family. I just don't exactly know which one yet.
That's fair. I need to grab my laptop.
The Studio Ghibli family. Studio Ghibli was this animation studio.
It's
probably
beautiful animation.
Yeah, probably making some of the best animation, like drawing animation that we've ever seen, truly. One of the most popular movies is called Ponyo.
And Howl's Moving Castle's another one. That's
Howl's Moving Castle's another one. There's a couple of them, but just from the context of like the story, the characters, the themes, and the taking the time on the animation and the creativity, just all of that, I really don't think anybody's done animation better than Studio Ghibli. From that standpoint.
That's absolutely.
Before Lionel answer, another one that's an underrated one, Osmosis Jones.
Yes.
I enjoyed that a whole lot.
I hated Bill Murray in Osmosis Jones. I hated Bill Murray. He ruined that movie for me. I love the movie outside of that, but my God.
Speaking of Bill Murray, where does Space Jam rank on this list? Is it on that list of the one that we was talking about, like with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or is it completely on the list with the rest of the 4 animated movies?
I'm gonna say an unpopular opinion about Space Jam. I think we wear a lot of nostalgia glasses when we talk about Space Jam. I think Space Jam is like very important to like a lot of people's childhood. But to say it's one of the best animated movies, I don't know. That's
You know what?
that's tough.
You just hit it for me too, man, because I think about the first time I seen Space Jam was the first time I was on a charter bus that had TVs. The first time I went to Disney World, and the first time I was doing stuff on the back of the bus with a girl that I probably shouldn't have been doing stuff with. So this is
Okay.
probably why I'm remembering this movie so fondly. It's like,
I think there are just a couple of scenes that come to mind in Space Jam that just kind of make me go, wow, we could have did this like a lot better.
yeah, but I mean the times. Come on, like I don't hold that against them.
Can we talk
I
about the
would
story of Space Jam? Because you could give the times all you want, right? For like animation purposes and stuff like that. But there's no excuse on the writing.
Yo, Sean Bradley was in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
That is crazy.
That he was.
Wow.
That he was. I will say though, my favorite scene in that movie is when Charles Barkley, after he loses his talent, goes to like the the place to play basketball with all the kids.
Oh yeah. with
And
the
they're like,
kids,
"Oh,
yeah.
that's Charles Barkley!" Like, yeah, whatever. And that little girl just gets up and blocks him. She's like, "You ain't no Charles Barkley. You're just an imposter." And Charles is just like, "Oh," like just turns around and walks away. But I mean,
Yeah,
there are some things about Space Jam that I think we put nostalgia goggles on Space Jam a lot. I like it. I'll always love the
the
movie.
soundtrack was good.
Soundtrack had R. Kelly. I do want to remind everybody of that.
Look,
Do want to remind everybody of
it
that.
was the 90s and
like,
black folks.
5 minutes
So-
too, like a solid 5 minutes of just I believe I could fly, and I did not need
what?
that.
I don't know why I don't remember that song as much for that movie when I think about it. I think about the song that was playing during the scene when Jordan was working out, like just trying to work the kinks off, whatever. That Fly Like an Eagle song, that song. That's the song I think about the most when I think about Space Jam.
Deal.
That's my joint. That's my joint. Lionel, what's your animated movie, man?
Well, I don't watch animated movies.
Really?
That's not true.
What's the
You
animated
don't-
movie?
I just
Yeah,
don't
you
have
can-
one.
No.
Really?
You don't have, out of all the animated movies you've seen, you don't have one that's just the best one.
No.
And why is that?
If I had a reason, I'd have a movie.
What movies though? I was thinking about something today about.
So do you put them
Batman.
all on like the same level? Like they all just
Essentially, yeah.
So there's no ranking of Lion King to I don't know everybody's favorite source.
I didn't grow up on Disney, so I didn't watch a lot of the Disney anime, so they're out.
you call them Disney
Damn, that's
animes?
a-
Did you call them
wait,
Disney animes?
yeah,
Animated-
wait, hold up. Yeah,
the
let's stop
animated
right
movies.
there.
Correction. I didn't watch a lot of the animated movies, so they're
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Man said the Disney anime. I
Um,
would love to
You're all
watch.
like, wait a minute.
Disney anime actually.
I've
sounds
seen
interesting.
plenty of animated movies plenty of times, but no.
Can
I
you
just-
name one off the top of your head?
No.
Okay. Well,
You know one that's high on the list for me, even though it's not very old. Zootopia.
Zootopia was
Zootopia
so
was a
good.
really good movie.
Oh, Zootopia was so
That was a
good.
really, really good movie.
You know what's another
My-
one that makes a high list for me?
What's up?
Inside Out.
Inside Out was wild.
Yes.
Inside Out was really good. Inside Out was really good.
Whenever I think about Inside Out, the next move I think about is Up. It's a
Up's a
very
really good one.
It's very nice.
My two that we haven't mentioned yet, because y'all have mentioned several that I really enjoy, is Road to El Dorado.
Road to El Dorado is a classic.
Oh wow.
Wonderful. And Megamind. I love the Megamind.
Hey,
I will not put
haven't seen it
Megamind on
yet.
this list.
I've seen
I
clips of
respect it. I
You
respect
can
it.
try it from my cold dead hand.
I will not put
that.
I will not put Megamind on this list.
I've seen clips and thought, yeah, that looks interesting.
Where
It
did
came
we
out
put-
the same year as Despicable Me, and it's a very similar plot.
Right around that,
So-
that period. Yeah. I like that. I like
They
that.
came out the same year, so like the media picked one.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Mhm.
Huh.
Now, so then here's a question for me. Where do y'all put Shrek on this list?
Oh my god!
Shrek is just a different category. Shrek deserves to be by itself. That Shrek should not be that good. Yeah.
So is the
It should
answer
not be
so
that
question is the answer Shrek then? Because Shrek is 100% animated.
Yeah, but it's so good that I don't want to put it on the list.
I was
with
gonna
anybody
say
else.
I tend to just leave Shrek alone.
Yeah, I can't.
But
put
I mean,
on the
it
list
is
with anybody else.
100% animated.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's just that damn good. I don't
It
know
is
how
good.
they got it that good. I don't understand.
It was
DreamWorks.
it was their first movie breaking from Disney, so it was legitimately made to make fun
Oh.
of Disney, which is why nobody sings in that movie except when she kills the
Huh.
bird and the
Yeah, 'cause-
dancing man.
because the DreamWorks Disney
That's
split
funny.
was ugly.
And
Ugly.
that is the movie
know
that
that.
came from the Disney DreamWorks split.
I didn't know that. Huh. So, what are the movies after that? Is Wally after that, or is it before? I
After
thought
what?
Wally was good. Wally is Wally
After
after Shrek?
Oh yeah, no, Shrek was the 2000s. So
Yeah, Wally came after Shrek.
Wally came after.
Wally
Shrek
was
came
good.
out in like 2000, 2001.
That movie cannot be that old, man. Come on, yo.
Yes.
What do
It
I
is.
think? I think of Shrek like 2007 or something. What? What?
Shrek came out in 01.
01.
Shrek came out that close to the beginning of SpongeBob? That is crazy.
Shrek came
When I
out
think
that
of-
Came
early.
out that close to Rugrats in Paris.
I see now that we got a thing here because whenever I think about old ass cartoons that's old, but I don't think of them as old, my starting point is realizing how long SpongeBob has been around. And for whatever reason, I don't immediately go to The Simpsons because The Simpsons has been here since 1989. And
Simpsons.
even though,
Rugrats
Even
in
though-
Paris,
what year is that?
2000.
So that's
You mean-
slightly older than Shrek.
Shrek is 01.
Woo.
Wow.
I tell you what, give me Rugrats in Paris. That's a good one.
Fair
That's
enough.
fair, that's a good one. That's good.
Orange tape. That's all I remember. Good
Orange
good,
tape.
good shit.
I'll give you that.
That's
I'll
fair.
give you that.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's not a bad one. I'm with you on that.
I was the definition of a Disney kid. So,
I will
and
say
when I
this,
wasn't,
though.
I was a what was it? Oh, X Files.
We didn't have Disney in the hood.
We,
Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
I got Disney in the hood when we had illegal cable.
Fair.
That's when I got it. That's when I got it. And I remember my uncle, I remember watching this shit as a kid. This is a memory that's locked there. And wow, my uncle was in the hood. He was the person who was doing it. And it was doing some of the most reckless, dangerous shit to get this illegal cable hooked up. They had 2 ladders like stacked on each other in some kind of way for him to climb up this pole with like 4 people down there holding the ladder so that it won't fall. And I remember wondering, have I ever seen my uncle like work on, I don't know, the wires and stuff on these poles? No, I haven't. What is he doing? Is this safe? And then I remember not having that question anymore when I was watching HBO, when I shouldn't have been. That's right. A young preteen JEs was watching Real Sats on HBO when I shouldn't have been. And you know how I go. Where's the remote? When you're not supposed to, when you're watching something you're not supposed to be watching is at night, you make sure the remote is near so you have that back button ready just in case you hear like a creak or something in the night. Like, yeah, that was watching
Jen,
all
you
the
can't relate,
programming I should
Jen?
have been watching. I don't know. That laugh sounded like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But no, I'm
I
watching
am
movies.
very asexual, and this is not a problem.
I'm talking about just watching shit you weren't supposed to be watching as a kid.
Also, my family didn't monitor my TV time as a child, which was
well, I'll be
dangerous.
damned.
I be goddamn. What?
I wish I had that shit.
Because I had a TV in my room as a
I had
kid,
one.
and I stayed up really late, and my family assumed as long as I was quiet, they left me the hell alone until I was like
That
13,
sounds like
and then
me
they
as a
started
parent.
turning it off.
That's
My mom claims the reason why I was not allowed to watch TV to go to sleep anymore. She claims that one day she went in my room after Cartoon Network was on and Adult Swim came on. But she claims, this is what she claims, stands by this claim firmly, that there was a scene on Adult Swim of Superman and Lois Lane full on having sex. And I said, Mom, that was not on Adult Swim.
And see, that's how I know my TV time wasn't monitored. I watched a lot of Adult Swim.
Look, I
I
say
that wasn't on
I can
there.
believe
I
that,
say
Sean.
this.
No,
She was probably exaggerating just a little bit because I'm sure there was a skit in Robot Chicken somewhere.
Jay's she has told me this story for like 20 years and it has not changed.
Well, what were you watching, Sean?
I was sleeping. I was sleeping.
What did you fall asleep to?
I went to bed at 9:00 p.m. as a child. Cartoon Network was still on TV at 9:00 p.m. as a child.
You know what? At that time, it was.
Okay.
They moved them hours up.
I was gonna say I had severe insomnia as a child, so my parents were like, "If Jennifer's quiet, leave her the fuck alone."
My whole issue was I hated Adult Swim growing up. I love Nick at Night though.
Why? Okay.
Because Nick at Night used to play the shit, yo. You used to get like everything. Now they just play fucking Friends and George Lopez, whack ass shit.
But you know what? That kind of makes sense because of who's likely watching it now, as opposed to when, who was watching it then. So when you seen Family Matters or Fresh Prince back then, it was like, there was probably some people who are around your age at that time was like, man, I don't want to see this shit. But we was like, okay, that's the shit. Yeah, let me get them reruns in. And now you looking at Friends like, this what y'all doing?
I will forever stand by the fact that Friends is not funny. Friends,
Look,
Seinfeld are not.
Wait a minute now.
Okay, you
Wait a
can't
minute.
do Seinfeld
Wait
like
a
that.
minute.
Seinfeld
Not
is fun.
Don't put
fucking
Seinfeld in there.
funny.
Don't leave Seinfeld away
Leave
from
Seinfeld
Friends.
out of that.
Jerry
do that.
Seinfeld is funny.
Don't do it. This show was funny.
If
The
you
show is
don't,
not funny.
if you think Jerry Seinfeld is funny, how do you not think Seinfeld is funny? It's literally just
It's
his
Jerry
humor.
Seinfeld.
It's simple.
It's just his humor.
Look,
That's all the show is.
George
It's his
Costanza
jokes.
is hilarious. George, I can't believe I walked away with George being my favorite character on that show. And next to George was Elaine. Because I thought Elaine's stories were better.
I absolutely can. I love George Costanza.
I never watched Seinfeld. I cannot participate.
You're not missing anything.
What?
It wasn't funny.
You're missing a lot.
Yeah.
You're
Seinfeld.
missing a lot.
Seinfeld's better than Friends. I will say that. That's for damn sure. Now, I will say there is only one scene in Friends that really makes me like cry laughing, and it's because of my stupid humor of watching people get injured and me laughing like a fucking maniac. And it's the scene or it's the episode where Joey breaks his fridge and he's going around and like trying to get somebody to pay for the fridge. And Ross comes in the room and he's asking for advice on something. And Joey just goes, or, you know, you could just, and he just like pushes him into the fridge and the whole set shakes and everything falls down. And you could tell like the interaction between like Joey and Ross was like awkward. Like between like Dave and whatever Joey's actual name is. But like they weren't on the same page. So it was just this weird thing where like David Schwimmer did not know what was happening.
Yeah.
And then Joey's like, what did I do? What do you mean you broke my fridge? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't
He opens
know.
it, he's like, oh, well, you know, it's just broken. That makes me like cry laughing. Other than that, no, not too much.
I don't know how that show got that big for its time. I don't think it's a bad show. I don't think it's that funny either, but I don't know why or how it was just that show of the time. I don't understand.
I'll tell you why.
It's,
All right, Sean has his hand raised. Go ahead,
okay,
Sean.
listen.
I was also going to answer the question, but I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say white people.
I didn't want to think it was that easy. But
Well, we all know that Friends is literally a ripoff of Living Single.
I mean,
So that's why.
And for years, with a lot of people saying, you know, people speculating about it, when I think Erica Alexander and Queen Latifah broke down the specifics of how it happened, it was like, yeah, it makes even more sense to what we all thought. So
The crazy thing about it with me is like, if I was gonna steal the show, like a group of friends living, you know, in New York, it's the show, right? If I'm gonna steal that, at least change the goddamn city. There's like, or what if we make it white people in New York? And they just ran with the shit. They didn't even change the fucking city.
And hence why I said white people, because like it's very clear that, you know, that all they did was just change the show from black people to white people. That's it.
one of the things that
Still
bothered me
whack.
about two of the black shows in the 90s was the recast of two of the main characters in the shows. The recast, of course, of Aunt Viv, but there was a recast of in Family Matters too that a lot of people forget about because I think it only happens in the last season. Harriet is a complete recast, and like she has something in her contract to where they said she could leave in the middle of the season because she had been over Jaleel White's shit. Like her and Jaleel White would never get along. Like I don't know what it was. They just could not get along. Much like Janet Hubert and Will Smith. They weren't getting along. But the difference, I think, with Family Matters is I think her name is Jill Marie Payton. Jill Marie Payton said that Family Matters were never supposed to be about Steve Urkel. It was not supposed to be his shit. And you can even see that because the first season, he only shows up as a regular cast member around the end of the first season. Fresh Prince was Will Smith. Like, that was his shit. So, but Jill Marie got tired of Family Matters, aside from Jaleel White, because she got tired of the science fiction shit. And when you think about it, if you can remember, Family Matters start doing shit to where they start going back in time, and it's teleportation. And at one point, I think Carl turns into like a Bruce Lee character for an episode or something. And she was like, no, this is not what this shit was supposed to be about. And my problem with the recast, my problem with the recast of both of those characters were very clearly, unmistakably dark-skinned black women. Both recasts were light-skinned. Both of them. And not just that, but the character makeup and the way that they respond to stuff was different too. I don't know why they did that.
How often? Okay. First of all, My Wife and Kids with Damon Wayans. The sister was also recast.
Yep,
That's another one.
that's another one.
How often did we watch Golden Girls?
I watched it
A lot more than I want to admit.
I watched it.
Because Blanche and them,
I watched it a fair amount. By the time people of my generation really started to catch on to Betty White, I was like, oh, Golden Girls.
Golden.
So,
Listen, when that bass line hit, hey, Golden, who watching Golden Girls? Oh,
man, what used to
Explaining to
always
my older relatives that a lot of young people like Betty White is wild.
oh yeah.
They're like,
It's crazy.
that shit is wild.
I remember thinking Betty White was old on Golden Girls. What the hell? Like, Golden, and I went down a rabbit hole of how many of these shows are connected, because I think Designing Women is another show that's from like the tree of Golden Girls, and somewhere in there, Harriet from Family Matters is in that tree too, and it just kept branching down. Moesha is in the same universe as the Parkers.
I knew
I didn't know
that.
that shit for a while. And then they overlap to other shit. Like it's like, yeah, there is. I don't know if it's. I'm pretty sure it's the same studios, but a lot of them are like a web essentially.
You want to know what my favorite sitcom was growing up?
What's up?
Anybody want to take a guess?
Full House.
No.
I just want to take a stab in the dark.
I'm gonna guess Martin because I know you watched a lot of Martin in college.
Didn't watch a lot of Martin growing up. No.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a guess, but I do want to point out that Betty White was in her 60s for Golden Girls.
Damn.
Wow.
King of Queens.
Yo,
King of
King of
Queens?
Queens is not a bad one, yo.
King of
It's
Queens
not
was
bad.
low key lit.
It's not a
Kevin
bad
James was one of my favorite actors growing up.
You know, one of the things I appreciated about this show, it wasn't a few times they mentioned them having kids, but I like that, you know, they didn't just do it. Like it was just a couple who didn't have any kids. Because normally all those TVs like that, the main couple has like at least 2 kids. I was like, you know what, that's cool. The fact that y'all able to ride this whole show out like that is kind of risky when it shouldn't be, but yeah, I thought that was cool.
You want to know another show that I don't think was very funny growing up? Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yo, I just found out yesterday how long
It had its
was on.
moments.
That show was on way too long.
It had its moments, but it's just like, all right, guys, give the first 5 or 10 minutes of the show is like, and after that's like, all right, when is CSI Miami coming on? Because this is bullshit. This bullshit. Turn this shit off.
That, and then they, after a while, they just got into kind of like the same rotation of stories where Raymond's mom is like the problem and Raymond's wife is trying to fight against it. She says something to the mom make her feel guilty.
Season 1 shit.
After a while, they just kept rotating. That show started in 1996. Fucking wow. Why was it?
That show was lame. And you know what?
96 to 2005.
The show shouldn't have made it out of the 90s.
Malcolm in the
should
Middle
not.
wasn't very funny either.
Malcolm in the Middle was not funny at all.
Malcolm in the Middle was not very funny, but had one of the best theme songs. One of the best TV theme songs of the 2000s.
Kind of obscure or not as popular sitcom that you watch that when you bring it up, people like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, dear.
Watch Yes Dear. I'm with you on that. But it is good on that list. I'm with you on that.
Yes, dear.
Yes. I used to watch it on
Are
TV.
we the only ones who watched sitcoms growing up?
I wasn't
I
really
was
big
an-
on sitcoms. Yeah,
I was an
not really.
X-Files kid, so
Yo, me and Keisha just started watching X-Files like a couple months ago.
I
That
want you
shit is good.
I want you to know that I was watching that at the same time I was watching Blue's Clues regularly.
We just got a
really-
letter.
They really did not monitor you with that TV.
They didn't, because you supposed to be watching Blue's Clues and you watching X-Files? Like, hold on.
What's funnier, they knew I was watching X-Files because my mom tells me about this because I'd run through the house going, Scully and Mulder's on, Scully and Mulder's on. And if you want to know anything about why I turned out the way I did, I blame it on this.
Don't y'all remember when sci-fi like was literally
remember that
lit
channel.
with all of the fucking
Yeah.
shows?
I remember that.
Man,
One of
bring 2000s TV back. They can keep some of these whack ass shows they got on now.
A piece of
Bring-
dark history that I know about X-Files is, and Star Trek during that time, was the cult Heaven's Gate. The
Ooh.
one time that they watched TV, they used to watch that shit weekly. That was the
Really?
one thing that they watched. And they enjoyed the
Really?
fuck out of it.
I'm not surprised considering what Heaven's Gate was, but
I
you
mean,
know,
that's fair, but also, wow.
I'm waiting. I'm
Yeah.
waiting on the Heaven's Gate documentary. By the way, like I'm waiting
Which
for
one?
Netflix to pull the. Well, really, you could do all of them. You
I
put them
know,
all.
because
in.
I was about to say there's like a
One.
ton of them out there. There's also a really good.
I'm talking about the
9-part podcast.
major. I'm talking about the major two.
The
incidents.
major.
The
joint. I
major.
give you that.
Yeah, the major
That's a
two.
good point. That's a good point.
I
But
think
you
that
know
would be the
what?
ones I'd stick with.
If they're gonna do it, it needs to be no less than 15 episodes.
I agree.
Because
There's
so
a lot.
much to
There's a
dig
lot
into
to talk
that
about with
story.
Heaven's Gate.
A lot of people
I'm glad-
forget
dude.
that two people started this shit. So
Heaven's
because
Gate.
that other
Heaven's
lady
Gate
is
is
like
nuts.
that other lady is gone for like a long time.
Mhm.
So yeah, they
I know it was another thing I needed y'all to fucking watch. The Jared documentary on ID on Hulu.
Not
Somebody-
watching Jared.
Jared
Yeah,
was
no.
a fucking
I tell you
devil.
this.
Yeah.
You know what? Hold up. Let me find the
Yeah.
post. I just seen a post about it, and I want to see it. I want to read it specifically because I didn't even know there was a documentary about. Where is it?
It's
She
3
said-
parts on
she said,
on
"Oh
Hulu.
She said, "Oh my God, the documentary about Jared, the subway guy, is beyond disturbing. I had to immediately watch something happy,
Very.
safe, and fun afterwards."
I ain't watching this.
Yeah, I'm not
Damn,
watching.
It's-
I'm not
Okay,
doing that.
well, can I kind of break it down a little bit for y'all?
Sure.
I don't mind, but I'm not watching this anytime soon.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Fair enough.
watching this at all.
I'm not getting it.
Here we go. So essentially, Jared Fogle was from Indianapolis. Go fucking figure.
Why am I not surprised by that?
I feel like I knew
'Cause-
that information.
Huh.
Go fucking figure, right? So he went to college. He was a big dude. He was picked on, all that stuff. He started eating 6-inch sub and lost weight. And then Subway was like, "Hey,
I
you
remember
really lost weight eating our shit." All right. Then he blew up.
Mhm.
Then, he started in 2008, he started, talking to this radio show host in Sarasota, Florida. And they got real close. And then she was like, he let it slip to her when they were doing an interview at a middle school that he liked middle school girls. So she started recording their conversations for years.
Oh,
And he like confessed like shit to her.
how you get that?
And it got to the point where he was asking her like, would she watch him like
All right, okay. No, I
essay?
I got you. I know. I got you.
I'm not going anywhere near this series.
Right.
Never-
But
never.
here's where the breaking point was. Right? He asked her if he could see her children, who were 10 and 11 at a time, naked, and put hidden cameras in the house. And even with all of this evidence, she took it to the FBI, and the FBI says we can't do anything because this is just him talking. There is no proof of him acting on it. The only reason they got Jared Fogle was because the guy who was running the Jared Fogle Foundation got busted for fraud. And they took his laptop
from him. Yeah,
and they found images and video that he sent to Jared, and when they raided Jared's house, they found those same things. And the guy who was running his foundation was recording his own daughters for 15 years.
Come on, man. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. Come on.
The shit, oh my, Jared, when he gets out of, like, if he's not getting fucking handled in jail right now, then jail ain't the place they talk about on TV. Beyond Scared Straight is a lie.
I'm not getting close to that documentary, man.
Okay. Well, I've done all the dirty work for y'all.
Another interesting point though about Heaven's Gate. What made Marshall Applewhite make his decision was watching what was happening live in Waco. And we also know what happened in Oklahoma City was Timothy Maffei watching what was happening in Waco.
Yeah.
That is, the way those dots connect that way is so weird.
Waco was a big deal. Waco, we don't talk about Waco enough, but Waco was a big deal.
Yeah, that is.
Waco was a big deal.
And it led to a lot of shit.
There's a movie that's loosely based on it, also based on a preacher of the Westboro Baptist Church. Called,
oh boy,
yeah, it's a movie called Red State, and the guy behind Jay and Silent Bob did the movie.
Oh wow,
that movie is good. That movie is really good. It's really good. And
you know what just popped up in my head? And it's not funny, but it's funny. You know the TikTok where it goes, dumb ways to die.
Yeah.
How the fuck that popped up, man? That's not funny.
Yo, I got so many facts. I posted about this, I think today. I was consuming so much true crime shit through the week that I had to step back from that genre of stuff because I know so much shit about Heaven's Gate that I don't understand why I know. Like, their website is still up. That website is still running. There are 2 people left from Heaven's Gate that keeps that website up intentionally. But some of the people who left Heaven's Gate, not all of the people who died from that died in that house. A couple of them did it themselves because they were hoping they still had time to catch the spaceship behind the comet.
And truthfully, the only reason why Heaven's Gate is really something that we talk about isn't even necessarily the mass suicide aspect of it, because if we were to start taking a list of all of the cults that do mass suicide, I mean, we'd be here forever. It's the fact that they were all dressed in the same clothes, that there was no foul play, that they all had the same shoes, they all had the same beds, they all looked exactly the same, and that this happened twice.
And
imagine a JC Pennant order and nobody thought that anything was wrong with that.
It was Nike. It was Nike.
Yeah. Though, and
it was Nike suits.
I forgot the name of those shoes, but I know you can't buy them anymore.
No,
I can't buy them anymore. They said absolutely not.
Yeah, I forgot what they were too. Because so one of the craziest things
you
about
can't buy a Mars bar anymore.
So one of the craziest things about Heaven's Gate was that when they reported on this, they actually showed the pictures on national TV, because it was the FCC was all about blood and gore. Heaven's Gate had no blood or gore.
Another thing that makes
That's fucking
such
horrifying.
the other thing that makes it such a big like makes people interested in like knowing more about it, morbidly or not, is they all have exit videos. And watching the exit videos is like watching this person talk about this, knowing what happened to this person is is wild.
Yeah.
Is knowing that one of the people in there was like the brother of somebody who was of an actor, one of the only black actors on Star Trek. Um Shit, what was another one that was interesting? Another one, like I think the youngest one was like 19 or in her early 20s.
Mhm.
And I heard the tapes of her talking to her parents and her parents trying to find a way to convince her to come home.
Christ.
That, that shit is wild. Then there's a guy, one of the last people to have any contact with them was at a restaurant that they went to, and they recorded everything in their book, like how much the meal was, how much they left for a tip, the money that they gave to a homeless person. Is is wild. That story is wild. Also, Marshall Applewhite went to the University of Alabama. He was I think over the music department there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, right?
Hey,
Roll Tide.
Jays, you doing anything over the next few years? You want to do some research on Heaven's Gate and pitch it to Netflix? Because it seems like we might be the only two people that know anything about this shit.
Like, yo, we know way too much, man.
No shit.
I even know the name of their bookstore when they first started. It was called No Place.
No place.
KNOW Place.
Yep.
I thought that was a cool name though. I ain't gonna lie. That's dope.
I did. I also thought.
That's
Listen, they
That's dope.
were batshit crazy, but they had a couple of creative ideas. They had a couple of creative
They
ideas.
did. Because that No Place shit, yo, I wrote that in my notebook to make a song out of it. I said, nah, I'm not doing that. That's a little too fucked up. But the name of it is so dope. No Place.
Yeah, No Place is good.
That's a decent name. Like, not gonna lie, but also
for a bookstore, that is so dope.
Just make the name and take off the W.
Thanatos, what are you doing?
But it has to have the whole thing.
Okay, well, Jays, then you run into the problem of the whole Heaven's Gate thing. Right?
Exactly. So that's why I'm not fucking with it. Even though currently I'm writing something that's gonna test my limits, because I can admit this on a podcast. I don't mind saying this. I'm actually looking. Well, I don't want to say looking. I know a couple people. I'm writing basically a project called the Psychedelic Tapes, and I already got the production. The production sounds amazing, but in order for me to get to the place that I need to write it from, I got to go back to whatever that place was that time that I had LSD. And that shit, that LSD trip, yo, I don't even do drugs like that. I never have. But that LSD trip was something. That shit was something. I seen the wind. I seen it. I seen what it looks like when it moves through the room. I seen the wind, okay? I seen the walls make themselves by themselves. I seen that shit. I seen it. That was wild.
Psychedelics do that to you.
I would do that. High lasted for somewhere around, I don't know, 8, maybe 9 hours or something. It was, but it wasn't any like, it wasn't like any highs or lows. It was just when you got there, you was there. And I was in a room with like 5 other people, and God, it was amazing. That was the only time I did it, because I don't know where to find LSD like that. I didn't know at the time. And I think it wasn't until probably about some years later that I learned the history of LSD and how it was used for a cult, by the way, to make the cult leader seem like she was a god. that
and then taken by the FBI or the CIA and used as a truth-telling serum, which I think is one of the wildest things, because I have seen people on LSD and the truth is not what is being focused on.
I think LSD is a good spot to end the podcast.
I agree.
On that note, look up the show that the Grateful Dead had on TV with the LSD.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
On an actual note, Spring Hill refused to have a speaker come once because they were on LSD, which is where we got the idea for the funeral for free speech.
Whoa. Wow.
Sean, you should know what I'm talking about.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a preacher. There was somebody in the 70s that was like, a group on Spring Hill was like, we want to bring this person to campus. And Spring Hill was like, that person does LSD. So they had a funeral and carried a coffin through campus. And we used that as inspiration for an event in 2017.
That we were not able to go as hard as we wanted to on.
No, but I also did set up an entire graveyard on Spring Hill's campus that was not on the actual graveyard.
But we had plans and they told us hell no.
So instead I put a coffin up on campus and somebody stole it and it ended up on top of the apartments. All because of a preacher on LSD.
On top of the apartment.
Top of the apartments.
I never got it back. I let it stay there.
There was no reason to go get it.
Oh, fuck that. Keep the coffin.
So we have talked about a weird, I'm gonna say, assortment of shit. And the cat's like, hey, I'm in here, man. Watch out. Let me get in the cat.
All the way in here. Like, yo, personal space, man. What's going on?
Cats ain't got no personal space.
What's up, man? I'm in here, man.
None, yo.
My cat just shut herself in my room because she figured out how to close the door and can't open it.
So,
all right, man. All right.
Next week we have a special guest that I'm not telling anybody on this podcast who it's going to be.
I think you already told me.
No, it's not Reese.
Oh.
Okay.
Lional, who are you bringing on this podcast?
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna worry about it.
Well, worry about it on your own damn time. I don't really care. I don't be in my line today. Like, all right, Lionel, stop bullshit. Who is it? Because I want to tell you, wait until Tuesday, ho. Those are gonna be my exact words. Wait till Tuesday, ho.
Should I be concerned?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is this somebody I know?
Sure.
Sure. What kind of fucking answer is that?
It's an answer.
It's a shitty answer.
It's an answer.
A shitty answer.
Well,
I hate when people do shit like that, bro. God damn, I'll be thinking about that all week.
That's good.
No, it's not.
I don't really care. I don't really care about your thought process, Sean, honestly. It is just gonna be what it's gonna be. So I'm gonna say this. J.E.'s, you are going to thoroughly enjoy this guest. Okay.
Now you're just adding stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm saying now he's just playing.
Absolutely.
Now he's just playing.
So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Just another Tuesday night for us that you guys will see on probably Thursday night or Friday morning. So when you see this, like, share, subscribe. The TikTok's on the way. Whenever I get to fucking make it, or Sean makes it, or Jen makes it, or J.E.'s makes it, one of these busy people on this podcast gonna make TikTok. Keep watching, all 38 of y'all. Keep sharing, keep commenting, keep subscribing. Because when we get rich, off you motherfuckers one of these days, and we get that studio in New York making a podcast for a living, we're going to act like we don't know you. Because that's what podcasters do.
Truly. Truly.
We're going to make that money and forget where we came from.
That we will. That we fucking
I'm playing, y'all. I'm playing. We appreciate you. I'm playing a little bit.
I think one thing about the four of us and pretty much anybody we've brought on this podcast, I think throughout the variety of different amounts of money we've made throughout our life, we've been relatively the same people. I don't think it would change with
another tax bracket. I might be an asshole.
You act like you're not one currently.
I'd be a bigger asshole.
There you go.
So, drink your water. Mind your business. I'm Jennifer. That's Sean. That's Lionel. That's J.E.'s. This is But Peep This, the podcast. We'll see y'all next week.
And Lionel's going to go to jail if this broadcast in another state.